I want to tell you why I've changed to doing 2 sets of most things as opposed to doing 3+ sets on everything. 3+ sets of everything has been the norm for me for a long time because most programs have you doing 3, 4, 5, or more sets per exercise. And for the longest time, I did it and just accepted it as it was because I didn't want to be a little bitch. But I actually found that when I lowered my volume, I got better results from that. And it comes from a multitude of different factors. I mean, realistically, when you convert to doing only 2 sets per exercise, you know you have to do a whole lot of work in those 2 sets to make it worth doing that little amount. So it's really pushed me and motivated me to amp it up and, really try to give it my all and go to absolute failure. So on my first set, oftentimes what I'll do is I will record myself and I will not count. I will literally record what I'm doing and I will just go until I can't anymore on that first set. And then I will try my absolute hardest to match it on set two. And I have found that psychologically that frees me up a lot because in the past when I was doing 3 or 4 sets of something, let's say bench, I'm doing 4 sets of something, I would oftentimes hold myself back on set one and maybe even two so that on three and four I can perform well, which it kind of really doesn't make much sense because I had so many reps in reserve on the first two just to preserve the last two, where I could have just done 2 all-out sets and then moved on to something while I'm fresher and still have a lot of energy. So that's been a really big change for me, and I've really actually enjoyed it a lot. Like I said, I'm recording the first set, getting as many as I can physically, not mentally, because mentally, if you're focused on, I have to get to 15 or I have to get to 20, you just can drain yourself thinking about that. Sometimes it's nice to just load a bar up, go up to it, and literally do as many as you can with it. So definitely with moving to the 2 sets, that has changed a lot with that. And I don't have to worry about the drop off because generally speaking, for a lot of the things that I've done, especially when I go so close to, if not to failure, I'll experience huge drop off in set number three, and I'll always feel like, man, I could have just spent that energy so much better on something else that I'm a little bit more fresh on. So that's been huge. And in general for me, especially in my training right now, my major focus is building my chest and my biceps. Well, chest, biceps, and triceps, just chest and arms, really. But with that, I've been trying to be strategic in how I lay out my volume. I'm doing 12 sets of chest, 12 sets of biceps, and 11 sets of triceps throughout the week. And I'll explain on why 11 on the triceps in a second. But I have it split so that I'm doing an upper, lower with back, arms, rest, upper, lower with back, rest. That's my cycle. So on my upper day, I'm doing chest, bicep, tricep, and a little bit of shoulders. The leg day, I'm doing legs and back. And then when I do arms, I'm doing biceps, triceps, shoulders, forearms. And then the upper day again, the same as last. And then the back and the leg day is the same as last. But what I'm doing is I'm splitting it up so that on upper day one and two, they each get 6 sets of chest, so 3 exercises each. I find it to be perfect. I'm doing my barbell bench press for my first exercise, Smith machine incline, and then pec deck for the third. And with that series, going from the most unstable and compound exercise to the most unstable compound exercise to the most stable isolation exercise, I find that it's perfect because the chest gets completely cooked every time, but it also doesn't get overly cooked to the point where I can't recover for the next workout. And from there, I'm kind of going into biceps. Biceps, I do 2 exercises on each of my days. I will have like a bias. Like on the first day, I'll do more of a lengthened bias. Second day, I will do more of like a shortened bias. And then third day, more of a lengthened bias. It'll be a very similar thing with the triceps. The only exception is for the triceps, I'm doing JM press in the middle day, the arm day, and then I'm doing only 1 set of all-out overhead tricep extensions because I don't want to overly cook my triceps to the point where they don't recover for my next upper day when I have to do my bench and everything again. And I found that cutting down the volume just that much for that purpose has actually worked out pretty well. And we'll see over the next few months how it continues to work. But my arms and my chest have grown significantly, and I'm hoping to continue to see them climb up as well as my numbers. So one little nuanced thing that I will do, depending on the muscle, I won't do it with chest. I might do it with biceps. I'll definitely do it with back or legs, is I'll add sets based on feel and the 90% rule. The 90% rule being, okay, so like you do your first set and you get 10 reps. If you don't at least get 9, you cannot even contemplate doing a third set. But if I get 9 and I feel like I can give that third set my all, then I'm going to go for the third set. But if I spent everything that I spent to get that 9, I'm not going to really try for that third set. Maybe I'll come back around to that the next week and I'll be better off. Maybe I'll get 10 and 10 and then I'll go for the third set the next week. But that is something where I'll base it off of feel, and also to keeping my feel in compliance with using that 90% rule. And that's generally been working out really well for me as well in terms of, recovery, in terms of keeping the volume at a pretty steady state and seeing the weights continuously progress while not hammering down on my joints or anything like that. I just don't want to beat up my joints. I've had a lot of joint pain in the past. I'm a personal trainer throughout the entire day. So in a 10 to 12 hour day of training, I'm handling a lot of weights, I'm stretching people and doing stuff like that. So I do still use my body throughout the day. So I do have to be considerate of how much stress I put on it so that I can allow it to have its downtime in order to recover and grow. So in conclusion, I mean, by splitting things up like this and lowering my per set volume down, just makes everything better. I'm able to train more frequently. I don't feel that constant systemic fatigue that I used to always feel when I was doing higher volume programs. I would always just feel tired and sluggish, and that also may be in part to the fact that I'm working a job where I'm on my feet all day. That's something that you might want to consider yourself. If you're somebody that's not on your feet all day, maybe this will work for you, maybe this won't work for you. But I'm just sharing my experience with everything that I've been doing that's helping me to actually grow for once in my life. And, maybe it can help you. So that's pretty much everything that I've got to say here. The only other things that I can really say is, just learning how to manage fatigue with exercise selection is a huge helper. And, putting all the energy you can. If you're going to do less sets, don't give it a half-ass effort, because you can't go into this doing, oh, I can just get away with 2 sets, but you don't push to near failure or failure entirely. You're going to have to really push yourself balls to the walls if you do want to go on this approach. And that's it. I hope you liked the video. I hope you gained something important and knowledge, like some knowledge from this. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next.